Now start from first point, Ashoka.
Kingdom, empire.
Yeah, now chapter 6 full, very big kingdom and empire. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm starting.
A very big kingdom is equals to an empire. The lines that we see on our notes and coins have a long history. They were carved in stone and placed on top of a massive stone pillar at Sarnath, about which you read in chapter 7. Ashoka was one of the greatest rulers known to history, and on his instructions, inscriptions were inscribed on pillars as well as on rock surfaces. Before we find out what was written in the inscriptions, let us see why his kingdom was called an empire. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta was supported by a wise man named Chanakya or Kautilya. Many of Chanakya's ideas were written down in a book called the Arthashastra dynasty. When members of the same family become rulers one after the another, the family is often called a dynasty. The Mauryas were a dynasty with three important rulers: Chandragupta, his son Bindusara, and Bindusara's son Ashoka. There were several cities in the empire marked with black dots on the map. These included the capital Pataliputra, Taxila, and Ujjain. Taxila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route from north to south India. Merchants, officials, and craftspersons probably lived in these cities. In other areas, there were villages of farmers and herders. In some areas, such as central India, there were forests where people gathered forest produce and hunted animals for food. People in different parts of the empire spoke different languages. They probably ate different kinds of food and wore different kinds of clothes as well. How are empires different from kingdoms? Emperors need more resources than kings because empires are larger than kingdoms and need to be protected by big armies. So they also need a large number of officials who collect taxes. So large, different
Okay,
parts.
wait.
Okay,
You are running. You are not doing marathon. Why are you doing the marathon? Now Ashoka the emperor who gave a war. Now in short, I will tell you the story, then you will be able to understand Ashoka why they say that the first emperor who gave up the war. Now Ashoka is considered to be the one of the greatest rulers India has, along with Akbar. Ashoka is also known as Ashoka the Great, like Akbar the Great. So Ashoka is one of the two great rulers India had for many reasons. First of all, his way of sending the messages to the people. He started this inscription writing on the stones, carving it in the pillars and sending it to different parts of the country so that everybody should know what the king wants to say. So at that time, no internet, nothing was there. So they used to have inscribed their orders on the pillars and used to send to different parts of the country so that everybody should know what the ruler wants to say, what rules rulers have made. And when Ashoka became the ruler, about 2300 years ago, founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya, he was supported by a wise man known as Chanakya or Kautilya, he was known as. And he wrote a book also known as Arthashastra, in which he has wrote about his views, about his ideas in this book called Arthashastra. Now, why is known as Ashoka? Why they say that he was the only one who gave up the war? When Ashoka became the ruler, almost Most of the part of India was under his control. Only a small part in India known as Kalinga, now it is known as Orissa, that was not the part of his kingdom. Rest of the country was under him, even the Sri Lanka, and there also he was of control over there. So he went for a war to capture Kalinga, that now present day Odisha. It war resulted in casualty or killing of many people, loss of life and property, destruction of property. Many people died. And when Ashoka saw this destruction and death of people, he was very much disgusted and very much became sad. And then and there he decided that now he will never fight a war again. That's why he was the only king who said that after winning the war in Odisha, capturing the Kalinga or Odisha under his control, he said, now I'm giving up the war. Because he was very much pained by the life, destruction of property and the life of the people who died in the war. So then and there he decided that now he will not fight the war anymore. He will not kill the animals. And he converted into Buddhism. And then he spread Buddhism in different parts of the world. He sent his daughter to Sri Lanka and Indonesia and other parts of the world to spread Buddhism, to spread his ideas. He sent his messengers also to different parts of the world to spread Buddhism. And he gave a concept known as Dhamma, his ideas, in which he preached non-violence. He said, no one should be killed, neither the animals nor the men, because all have life. So should not be killed. People should not speak lies. Animal will not be sacrificed. Slaves and servants should not be ill-treated. He gave all these things in his message, in his teachings, which he sent through inscription, through his messengers, through his son and daughter to different parts of the world to spread his teaching known as Dhamma. And the people who were spreading this were come to be known as Dhamma Mahamatas. So that's why Ashika, that makes him the unique ruler, that after winning the war, capturing all part of India, he decided that he would not fight war. Plus, he was the only one who started this inscription, sending the messages to different places through inscription. And it was a strict instruction that this inscription should be put at important places so that everybody can read. Plus, those who cannot read, it should be read for them. Those who are taking the inscription, they should read. For those who can't read, because it was written in Prakrit, the language of that time, and many people were not knowing, or many literate people were there who were not able to read. He guided his messengers, his officers, that those who are not able to read for them, so that they should know. So that makes him the unique ruler and the most important ruler in the world, who gave up war after winning. Now there is an empire and kingdoms. You have read in before chapter kingdoms, kingdom and early republic. Here you are reading empire, Ashokan empire. What is the difference between kingdom and empire? Now this is emperors. The empire need more resources than kings, because empire is larger than the kingdoms. Kingdom means a small part area, a particular state. But empire means all country, all over the country, they have the rule. So they need more resources, more officers, more things, because they have a larger part or larger land under their control. And they need big army to protect all the parts all over India. They have captured all over India. They have to protect them, so they need big army, protect them from enemies. So they need larger officers to collect taxes also. Because larger area, the more people needed. In kingdom, small areas there, so not many people are needed. But in the empire, because whole country is under their control, so they need officers in every part of the country to collect taxes. So that's why that is the difference between the empire and the kingdom. Patliputra, now known as Patna in Bihar, was the capital of Ashoka at that time. And Takshila and Ujjain were the important cities at that time because university was there. Takshila University was there. Ujjain was famous for his temples, or was known as the gateway to the northwest. So that's why these are the important parts in Ashokan Empire. Now ruling the empire, how it was ruled. Where is Ammar Firoz with broken hand? He is there. Where is Ammar Firoz? A man with broken hand. I told him not to do mischiefs. But still doing it. Ammar Firoz started in a boy with broken hand. Every time he's doing the mischiefs, that's why this happened. I told him not to hit his brother. So many times told him not to hit his brother, but he's still doing. He's not muted.
Yes, yes, sir.
Very good. Start. फिर म्यूट हो गया. Oh, फिर म्यूट हो गया. फिर again muted. Sorry. I'm sorry. Where is Ammar Firoz? I can't see Ammar Firoz. उमर फजल ये रहा. कहाँ छुप के बैठा हुआ है? ब्रोकन हैंडमैन. हाँ. Start.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Start reading.
Okay, sir. Ruling the empire. As the empire was so long, difficult parts were ruled.
Different part, difficult part, different parts.
Different parts were ruled differently. The area around Patalipura was under the direct control of the Patalipura
Emperor.
was under the
Ammar Firoz, see
direct
properly.
control of the
Emperor, where is empire?
emperor. This means that officials were appointed to collect taxes
Appointed.
from farmers.
Appointed.
Appointed to collect taxes from farmers, herders, craftspersons, and traders, and of who live in villages and towns in the area. Officials also punish those who disobedient. The sailors,
Disobeyed the
messenger.
Ammar Firoz, you got the pencil in the hand or in the eyes? Read properly. Why are you running fast? Right.
Also punish those who disobey the rulers' orders. Many of these officials were given salaries.
Salaries.
Messengers went to salaries. Messengers went to and fro, and spies kept a watch on the officials, and of course the emperor
supervised
them all. Supervised the help of member of the royal family and senior ministers. There were other areas or provinces. Each of these was ruled from a provincial capital such as
Taxila, Takshila,
such as
Takshila,
Taxila
Takshila,
or
Takshila, Ujjain,
Taxila or
or
Ujjain.
Ujjain.
Taxila or Ujjain. Ujjain, or some amount of control from uh, Patlipura, and royal princes were often sent as governors. Local customs and rulers were
Rules,
properly followed.
rules were probably followed.
Besides,
Custom and rules were probably
rules
followed.
were properly followed.
Very good. Now stop. Now, Mr. Jan, approach quickly. Time going to finish quickly. 4 minutes are there only. Start reading. Approach Diwan Jan.
Yes, sir. Besides, there were vast areas between these centers. Here, the Mauryas tried to control roads and rivers, which were important for transport and to collect and tried to control for transport and to collect whatever resources were available as tax and tribute. For example, the
Arthashastra.
Arthashastra tells us that the northwest was important for blankets and South India for its gold and precious stones. It is possible that these resources were collected as tribute. Unlike taxes which were collected on a regular basis, tribute was collected as and when it was possible from people who gave a variety of things, more or less willingly. There were also the forested regions. People living in these areas were more or less independent, but may have been expected to provide elephants, timber, honey, and wax to Mauryan officials, the emperor, and the capital city.
Megasthenes. Rajesh. Rajesh, read Rajesh. Rajesh, read.
Nobody.
Can I read? Sir, can I read?
Suleiman, read now. Suleiman,
Okay,
read.
sir. The emperor and the capital city. Megasthenes was an ambassador who was sent to the court of Chandragupta by the Greek ruler of West Asia named Seleucus Nicator. Megasthenes wrote an account about what he saw. Here is a part of his description. The occasions on which the emperor appears in public are celebrated with grand royal processions. He is carried in a golden palanquin. His guards ride elephants decorated with gold and silver, trained parrot. Some of the guards carry trees on which live birds, including a flock of trained parrots, circle about the head of the emperor. The king is normally surrounded by armed women. He is afraid that someone may try to kill him. He has special servants to taste the food before he eats. He never sleeps in the same bedroom for 2 nights. And about Patliputra, modern day Patna, he wrote, "This is a large and beautiful city. It is surrounded by a massive wall. It has 570 towers, and these stories are built of wood and mud brick. The king's palace is also of wood and decorated with stone carvings. It is surrounded with gardens and enclosures for keeping birds. Ashoka, a unique ruler, the most
Do we have to rejoin again after this session?
No, it is 40
No.
minutes.